Hello beautiful people and welcome to my channel Mickey Art. My name's Michelle Edhouse and today I'm going to start the process of painting this box. As you can see, it is a tissue box cover. I found it in the sale items. The corner's been ripped and taped up. The tape would be fine if I was just decoupaging over it or something like that. But I am going to need to do a little bit of tutuing to get that to be glued, not taped. And then I will gesso over that as well. So bear with me as I prepare it. This sort of thing is available in most craft stores. So check them out. If you've got someone in your life that doesn't like the colour of their tissue box, maybe doesn't want to advertise that they use a cheap brand of tissue, or just wants something pretty to look at rather than what the companies decide. So I'm going to get this all prepared and glue that up. Tape it up. If I tape it right, I actually won't need to gesso it. This is like a brown paper box, so just like with the folder I did recently, there isn't any need to gesso. I did have a few questions about needing to gesso. Gesso is great for, what would you call it? It's great for if you have a absorbent, I can't get the lid off my glue. If you have an absorbent type thing, like MDF or canvas, then absolutely you need to be doing some gesso. I haven't found cardboard to be an issue personally. You're going to get some sort of bending with it, but beyond that it's really not an issue. So I'm going to put some masking tape on that just to hold it in place. I could go out and get one of my corner clamps from the garage, but I'm not going to, because you know what, I've got 5 sides to paint of this, and I'm not going to pour it all in one big pour. So you guys are going to be seeing a lot of this box over the next few weeks as we lead up to Mother's Day, middle of May here in New Zealand. Happy Mother's Day for all of you that are in the UK and had Mother's Day back on Sunday. You're probably seeing this our Sunday, so it's probably over a week overdue. I apologise. And what else is possible? You're not my mum anyway. Love you, but okay, so how am I going to do this? I'm going to tape off and pour. And I'm going to pour each of the sides first. Then I'm going to pour the top, I think. Because it's the top that's going to be seen the most. So that one's going to be last. It's going to be the pretty end result. What do you reckon? Or should I just, no. Stick to the plan, Michelle. Stick to the plan. Okay, so the person I'm sort of thinking about this for is my mommy. And so her home is quite soft avocado greens, creams, and a bit of brown sort of thing. So that's the angle at which I thought I would go with this. So let's mix up some paint. So I've got some burnt sienna, not a lot of it, but we don't need a lot because we don't need this to be big and thick and harsh brown. Just a gentle brown. So in here I have, this is burnt sienna with a little bit of iridescent medium, and it's never really shown up in the painting, and it does have some silicone in it, but probably not much left. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mix up enough to be able to do the whole pour, like all 5 sides, so that I don't end up with variations of colour, if you know what I mean. So I'm going to thin this down with some white, and what that will create is a much subtler colour, not that harshness that you'd be expecting. Now, I mix my paints with Floetrol and water. Many of you have been asking, how do you mix paints? I've actually got a video, and it's in the description below this video. There's a link to that. Please go check that out before you start asking me how I mix my paints. There are links to the different paints and the Floetrol and all of that stuff all down there in the description, or in that mixing video's description. Oh, look at that, bright green. That's what happens when you take things and add white. You get interesting colours. I'm not going to want much of that, I don't think. That's just going to add a little bit of texture. The other colours I'm going to put in with this are copper and I'm not actually really liking that green, to be honest. It's too minty. Mint green, not my favourite. I wonder what would happen if I put in a little bit, just a little bit of orange. I was going to put yellow in, but I've only got lime yellow, and that would just make it go hideous. Let's see. How does that change it? It's definitely toned it down a little bit. Not quite to Mum's living room's colour though. But it's heading the right direction, so whoops, that was a big plop. When you think about what would happen if you mixed 2 colours together, that's better. Now, think about what colours make up that colour. So orange is made of the 2 primary colours, red and yellow. And green is made from yellow and blue. So basically you've got all 3 in there. So you mix green and orange together, you're going to end up with a brown tinge to it. So just be aware of that as you're mixing your colours. Okay, that's definitely better. I like that. it was funny because I was looking at my colours going, what else should I add to this? Meaning as an individual colour. And the orange was like, me. And I'm like, yuck. I was like, okay. And then I got the awareness to add it to the green, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. How does it get better than that? So we have got a soft brown, a soft green, we've got some copper, which is quite runny. I know, there's going to be somebody out there that's like, get on and pour the paint. Just use that slider along the bottom of the video, and if you're on a computer and you use that slider, it actually shows you a little screenshot of what's happening where you've got the slider, and that way you can actually go, oh look, she's starting to pour paint now. Yay! Alright, so I'm just going to pour the first side and see what these colours come out like. I can always leave it to dry, scrape it off, whatever. So let's pour that side, and in order to do that, I'm going to wrap some butcher paper or something around so that we've got the other sides protected. How does it get better than that? Okay, so what I've got here is actually not butcher paper, it's baking paper. We can't buy butcher paper in New Zealand, and I like to use stuff that people that are in New Zealand can use. So I'm just going to wrap this around, and as you can see I've folded it in half, but that's still actually too big. How does it get better than that? Oh, good point. I'm doing that side. Now, stay in view of you guys. What I'm actually going to do is trim this down the middle. It gives me twice as much paper. And if any of you have used butcher paper before, sorry, what's it called? What's this stuff called? Baking paper, Michelle, baking paper. If you've used baking paper before, you'll know that masking tape doesn't really stick very well to it, which is why I'm happy to lay this down on top of the other piece of baking paper. Because it's just going to peel straight off. And then I'm going to line that up. With the edge of that. And wrap it around. And wrap it around there, and just fold that into there, and then a bit like a present, just wrap it around. So there we have, still got my price tags on there. My mother watches this video, she'll know how much I paid for a present. Alright, so here we have it. how does it get better than this? So let's get to pouring. Where are some tins to stand this on? So anytime you're pouring, guys, you need to have whatever you're pouring onto lifted up off the ground, so that when the paint comes pouring off the sides, as it has been quite often known to do, you will end up with it dripping down and off rather than sitting in a pool of paint at the bottom. Okay, so I'm gonna do, as I said, I'm looking to do subtle. So we're not going to be using a lot of colour. We are going to be doing sort of like a bit of a sandwich pour. So sandwich pour is where you take your white paint, which is your slice of bread, and then you put your colours in. And we don't actually need a lot, because we're only doing this little piece, and this little piece is 9.5 inches long by 3.5 inches big. I'm reading the little tag inside. And we want some copper highlights. And then before I go and put, this is 100% dimethicone. Dimethicone is a type of silicone. It's in the silicone family. I buy the brand Durex Play Perfect Glide. It has to be the pink and black container, as that's the one that's the dimethicone. And then I'm going to pour some more white on the top as the other piece of bread of the sandwich. There we go. See, look at that. I've got enough paint here probably for 2 sides or more. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pour half of it, pour it, and then store the rest of it in the pot till we're ready to do the next one. So how am I going to do this? Oh, that's pretty. Look at that. Okay, now with the silicone being in there, I'm quite keen to warm this, allowing the silicone to, there we go, rise to the surface. You've got oil in a water-based paint, so given the chance, that oil will rise up to the surface. We are not cooking our paint, guys, we are warming it. If you heat it too much, it will create a skin. But if you're creating a skin and your paint is not moving very well because of that skin, you have got your flame too close to the paint. Okay, and we've got a couple of little cells, but nothing really. So let's just stretch that out a bit. And then check if any other cells want to come out and play. Just get that right up to that corner. Okay, that looks almost like marble, doesn't it? That's quite funky. going to pop some more air bubbles that have come up. And hey, you know what? If these don't come out looking identical on all the sides, it's okay. She just can put it up against a bookcase so that only one side shows. I hope you're hearing this, Mum. I'm not even sure if my mother watches my videos. And I'm just going to take a line around the top of the masking tape. Oh, we've got some more cells showing up. Look at these. They're pretty. Now, before you ask, the white I'm using is the Reeves Fine Artist Acrylic White. It's not my house paint white. Right, well that looks good. I like it. And I really don't think I need to bring you in for a closer look than that. What I am going to do though is move that out of the way. Just like this. Doop, doop. Moving my little supporty bits. And have a look and see. Ooh, that could be cool. Let's grab that one. So what do you mean by grab that one, Michelle? If you are new to my channel, here is my cool technique. You grab a glass cabochon and you make sure that the flat side is nice and clean. And you stick onto the rounded side a bit of blue tack or poster putty. It looks a bit weird because it's got lots of paint mixed in with it. And then I've just got it on a popsicle stick just to make a little stick to hold it. Makes it a lot easier. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this down in to the paint and make sure all the glass is covered. And what it does is it actually captures what you could see. That looks like a very subtle peacock's feather or a fern leaf, fern frond. It's quite cute. I like it. See if any cells want to come out in that. Yep, we've got some cells. They're just very subtle, and I don't think that's enough to capture on a cabochon. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. We will leave our little box. Oops, it's the inside of the box. Our little blocks to dry. And once this side is done, I'll be back and show you the dry result. And then we can move on to the next side. So I'm just going to put some, put this in a plastic bag or something just to keep it nice and runny for next time. And then I'll be back soon. Okay, so here's side one. It's dried really cool. I like the sort of lined cells in there. A little bit of cracking in the paint, but it doesn't feel cracked. It's kind of like just where the particles of the paint have sort of spread out. So see how, see if I can get it, there we go. So that doesn't actually feel rough at all, it's just the particles of the paint have been spread out. So it's quite funky, I quite like it, and I'm looking forward to doing other sides of this box. So let's have a look at our cabochon that we did. There it is, again, nice and gentle, soft. Oop. So I'll get that up on my website, and if anyone wants it, it'll be available for sale there. $5. $5. Alright guys, I'm looking forward to seeing if the other sides kind of look similar or whether we're going to have to go something quite different. So how does it get better than this? What else is possible? See you soon.